I'm Adam, and I'm talking to Serge from Kasabian. How's it going, man?
Yeah, good man, good.
Cool. Now, Kasabian has been around for, what has it been, 12, 13 years now?
Well,
Something like that?
yeah, well, I mean, the first record came out in 2004, but as a band, we started about 97.
97. So that's, what, about 15 years ago.
Mm.
When you formed the band, did you imagine you'd be winning Best Band Ever awards, selling 1 million copies of a record, headlining festivals?
You know, I suppose when you're sort of young and innocent, you do think that that's going to happen, and then you do it, and you realise how insane that it was to think that you could do it, because it's really hard, you know.
But you are doing it.
Yeah, I know. But it's weird. You don't realise what it actually means to do it. You can say it, and I think it helps to say it, because you know you can you have to believe, or there'd be no point. But now looking back and actually doing everything we set out, that's sort of, it's mental how hard it is.
In what way is it hard? I mean, for those
I suppose not hard. I mean,
band.
it's just there's a lot of things have to, you know. I don't know. It's a crazy life, and to hold it together and to, you know, be away on tour for so long, and then to write album after album. It's, you know, it's there's a lot to it, you know.
Is it hard to keep focused? Because, I mean, Kasabian has some crazy fans out there. Just, I don't know if you've ever read your YouTube comments. I don't recommend it, really.
No.
But, I mean, you know, just now, 5 minutes ago, I was looking at the comments on one of your videos, and somebody said, "I want to have Serge's baby." I'm not making this up. And then, you know, 5 probably male fans ripping that person apart for objectifying you. I mean, is it hard to lose perspective with just passionate supporters, so many passionate supporters?
It's an incredible thing. I mean, I don't really read anything since about 2004. And the first time you're in a magazine, you buy it and it's great. You see a picture, or you see like the YouTube things and the things. I sort of tend to steer clear, because I don't know if it's a good thing that you know that. You know, I just think you're better off just sort of being yourself and not like letting that affect anything, you know. But the fans that we do have, I mean, I think the great thing, and I take real pride in our band, is we split people, you know. You're the lovers or you're absolutely haters, and I think that's rock and roll's job, you know. That means you're in a good band, because throughout history, or you know, if you don't split, then you are just, I don't know, you're not the real deal, I don't think.
Yeah, rock and roll is divisive. I mean, the classic bands.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of the classic bands, I mean, your music gets compared a lot in reviews, because honestly, we reviewers don't really have anything else to do without providing kind of landmarks like that. But I mean, it's rare that I would recommend a band to fans of the Stones, fans of Zeppelin, fans of Oasis, and fans of Low Fidelity All Stars. Are those all things that you listen to? Those different genres, different eras?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was sort of, the first thing I got into was like electronic music. I mean, I had a sort of sampler and a computer. That was the first thing, and I was really interested in almost rave, you know. And so that's where I started. But then the huge thing of Britpop, in England, and Oasis came along, and they changed everything. And then they opened the door. Oasis opened the door then to sort of late '60s and early '70s, and that changed me forever. But I suppose we've always wanted to sound, and the dream has always been, what would the Stones sound like in 2012? Not let's recreate what the Stones did. Let's be influenced and inspired by, and bring rock music into the future, I suppose.
So what's the next step, really?
Next step,
Given all the stuff that's come out since the classic rock bands.
wow.
Right?
Well, I think, I'm not sure. I don't really know. I wish I did. I wish I had the secret for the next step. But I think it's important there's a good tune in there. I think it's vital there's a tune. And I think once you have a great melody, then you can experiment with the music, and that will take it somewhere different, I think.
You know, I was going to ask you about songwriting, how Kasabian songs come together, because on your new album, Velociraptor, for instance, there's a lot going on there. Like, it seems like there's kind of the core song, and then there's just a ton of touches so to speak, that change it? I mean, do you start off with a simple kind of structure?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'd say I'm as I produce as much a producer as I'm a songwriter, because I do it as I go along. And in some ways, maybe like almost like painting, you know, on a canvas or whatever, and it could take 4 months to finish a song. With the more electronic songs, you know, and I really enjoy writing that way. And there's other songs like Goodbye Kiss that just done on an acoustic, and they take, you know, 15 minutes, and you go, wow, that's great, you know.
Right. I mean, that seems, you know, comparing Goodbye Kiss, for instance, which, like you said, just an acoustic, just a really nice melody-based song. Then there's something like Days Are Forgotten, for instance.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I see this being a hip-hop sort of swagger.
Yeah,
song,
definitely,
really.
yeah. It was, I mean, that started, I was just in a studio, and I had my iPhone, don't want to sell iPhones, but I had a phone that records stuff on, I can record stuff with.
Yeah.
And I just pressed record, and then I had this loop going, and I just started, you know, sort of jamming over it vocally, and this melody came, you know. It was great.
Do you write all the lyrics?
Yeah.
Kasabian?
Yeah.
And then what happens is Tom interpret them and...
Yeah, I was sort of, I was kind of I sort of sing the song, and then give Tom the CD. Then he lives with it, and then we'll go in the studio together, and then he'll lay down the vocal, and then he'll just be Tom, you know.
Okay. Another track, Rewired. It's in my opinion, one of the best rock songs.
Nice
it's
one.
Floating around right now.
Thank you.
In addition to being just a solid song, at the end there's this part where, what is it? Is it a synthesizer?
Well, that's actually we recorded a 20-piece orchestra playing the. Yeah.
I've never been more wrong about it. 20-piece orchestra.
Yeah. I think there's a synth buried in there somewhere.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a synth coming. Not to get too specific, but a synth kind of coming out the left speaker while there's just dense string, like heavy strings.
Yeah. There is no, you're not that wrong. There is definitely thing going on, but that's kind of almost getting like that. What we were just talking about with playing on with the hacienda, and it's kind of almost like a feel of that sort of baggy sort of sound.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Switchblade Smile. That has a. I see this being an almost tribal-like beat throughout that song. Did you start off with that beat?
Yeah. The beat came first, and then I just listening to it over and over. And this is what I tend to do with a microphone, just like this: sit in front of the speakers with a rhythm or a loop, and then just keep going over and over and try things. And I literally did with the riff, you know, and I sort of sang it like that, and then, you know. Then we got a synth sound that was like that, but then that scream at the start, it is almost trying to get that like hypnotic kind of, almost like he's so out of control that you just have to scream, you know. And it's something really powerful about that.
Yeah, I actually just thought of it now, but the Stone song, "Sympathy for the Devil."
Oh yeah,
just the way
absolutely.
that beat never changes.
Totally.
And it somehow seems to get harder just from never changing.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite songs all time.
Is it really? I can see that. I mean, that's a very hypnotic.
Totally.
Stuff layered. I have a weird question for you. We talked about, you know, the electronic touches, the different genre influences, maybe some of the different artists that have influenced you. Do you consider Kasabian a rock band?
Yeah. I think what defines us is we play guitars, and I think that's what will remain. I think that's what every song has a guitar on it. So, you know, we are a sort of modern rock band, I suppose.
Okay. Maybe a future rock band.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's coined that genre.
No, we should. That was always the plan.
Future rock. Yeah.
That was always the plan.
Okay. Title of the next album, maybe.
Yeah, that's gonna be
definitely.
That'll be yeah. I'm in.
All right, I consider this a verbal contract. So definitely. By Adam Morrison. Cool. All right. So what's next? I heard you've been writing new music. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, more kind of getting things figured out for what I'm going to do next. I sort of tend to not write a great deal on tour. I just try and I sort of collect on tour, like movies and music, and just sort of like figure out what I want the next record to be and how I want it to feel. And I sort of absorb a lot of things when I'm away, and then when I get home I just sort of let it all out.
Well, it sounds like in your songwriting process sort of mad scientist-y, like you need your time and space to experiment.
Absolutely.
right?
It's very important. I think in many ways the problem a lot of people have with success is they forget and to take risks and also to experiment because they need to pay the mortgage or whatever, or they need to they can't, we sound like this, we can't let people down. And I was always been really trying to fight against that. I never forget when Radiohead released Kid A. That changed my life because they just released that album and then their move was to then do that. And I've never, that keeps me going, things like that,
Yeah, it's fun. That's an excellent example for people because I remember when OK Computer was out, I thought and continue to think that's one of the best progressive rock or whatever you want to call it albums ever. Kid A was shocking, but it was still Radiohead. If you really listened to OK Computer, it was all there.
I know exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, even up to what they're doing now, it was all kind of telegraphed back then.
Totally, and it was just that's for me is art. It's like that's when you just, this is what we want to do. We're not gonna give in and stop pushing pushing ourselves. We're gonna. And people that have done that throughout history will remain like that. That's what keeps me going, I swear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think things like that, it's a way, not to be too music snobby about it, but it's a way that bands find out who are the fans and who like the hit singles.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, well, it was awesome to meet you. Love what you're doing. Thanks so much for coming in.
Cheers, man. Thank you.